computer for 11 years and fell in love with Apple technology and have always loved learning about products and programs on the Macintosh computers and the Apple computers, and just really love taking what may be complex to some people and breaking it down in teaching. So I thank God that I have a gift for helping others, and I want to use that gift and just really help other coaches and entrepreneurs really break through the barriers of technology so that you can do what you're gifted to do best, and that's help other people and just really grow your business and not get so bogged down in the technology that it totally stalls you. So I started with an Instagram boot camp about 6 months ago, and I took 3 Beachbody coaches through it just as a pilot group. They did it phenomenal. They've grown their accounts by thousands of followers and just have done so amazing, have really defined their brand, and really just took off with Instagram. So I continue to offer that course, and you'll see a little link at the bottom when we're done here with our presentation on Evernote. But I wanted to just kind of piece apart all the tools that I use and start doing tutorials on them for you guys. And one of the things that you asked for, one of the most popular things, was how to use Evernote. And I fell in love with Evernote probably, I would say, 2.5 years ago, and I just started using it for notes, and then I realized the power of Evernote, and I use it for everything. It really is something that I think you guys will, it's really a game changer in terms of your productivity. It literally saves me probably 1 to 2 hours a day by using Evernote. Super easy to use. I'm going to walk you through kind of the top highlights of Evernote today. We've got an hour and a half. You don't have to stay on the entire time. What I'll do is offer just a presentation with some slides. I'm actually using Evernote for this presentation, so to show you the power of Evernote, how you can use it with your teams and actually use it in presentation mode is really, really cool. So we'll go through that. I'll pop in and out of the presentation and give you guys some ideas of how I actually use it, because for me, I learn by doing, and if I can show you practical examples of what I mean when I tell you about one of these tips, you're going to really, I think, absorb it and start to use it and start to just put it into place. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's go. You should have a chat box open, so please feel free if you, I'm just looking for my chat box really quickly here. 1 second. Okay, I think my chat box is over here. Yeah. Okay, so you should see a chat box. If you see it, please say something so I know you're online, and that's where you can ask your questions. So, and if you missed this webinar and you don't have the opportunity to ask questions live, please ask it in our Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group. So here we go. I'm going to screen share, and I am going to screen share my desktop, my entire screen right here. Okay. Tell me 1 second here. It's loading our presentation. So tell me, Sherry, when you see a screen, a white screen come up. It's going to take a second here probably. Loading. So I'm using Evernote for my notes for this presentation today, and within Evernote Premium Edition, you can actually use a presentation mode to actually show as if it were like a PowerPoint presentation, which is really cool. Okay, Sherry, do you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Do you see the opening slide, Evernote for Beginners?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. We are on the same page. Okay, so if you want to know all about Evernote, you are definitely in the right place. And so thank you so much for coming. So what is Evernote? Evernote is a free or paid app for all your devices, basically your smartphone, your computer, your laptop, your iPad. It basically is keeping track of everything you want to keep track of. Think of it as like an all-in-one place where you can write, collect, you can find information, you can present information, and bottom line, you can keep your life together. It really is the best productivity tool that I have found out there. And trust me, I've used a ton of them. And this is the one I always, always come back to, and I anchor all of my stuff in. So first of all, there's many, many different ways to use Evernote. I'm going to tell you basically just like the top 16 or 17 things that you can do with it that may change your life. Even if you use one or two of these, you'll see how awesome your productivity will be and how much time you can save every day. So find one or two things that you can do and start implementing them. So one thing you can do with Evernote, so Evernote, just to back up for a second, you can get Evernote from just going to the website, evernote.com. And you can start with the free, or you can purchase the paid app, which is about $14.95 a month, I think, or I've got the pricing down below. I thought it was $14.95 a month, but it may be a little less. I can tell you right now it's an investment. It's an investment in your business, and it's a write-off because you need this application to take care of your business activities. Okay, so let's get to some of my highlights of Evernote. One thing that I love about Evernote is you can download all these little side apps that are free. One app that you can download when you use Evernote is called the Evernote Web Clipper. And it's basically just a little extension, a little icon that sits on top of your browser, and it's up there in your navigation bar, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes. And anytime you're on a website and you want to clip something, you want to save something somewhere, you can just basically highlight, right-click, and save it down into your Evernote. Really, really cool feature. So for example, if you're looking for recipes on, say, the Beachbody website, and you want to save that so that you can write a blog around that later, you can go to that page on Beachbody's blog or website and find that recipe, and then use your Evernote web clipper, and it clips it and basically saves it into a note inside your Evernote. So all it takes is one click and you've got it saved, as opposed to copying and pasting all kinds of information and trying to format, etc. It just basically saves the page for you. The other thing you can do is you can share information. So when you type something in Evernote, you can basically share that note or share the notebook with other users. And you basically invite people to receive that information. You can share with individuals. All you need is their email, or you can create a public link. Now, they don't have to have Evernote app installed. It will ask them to sign up for the free version so that they can view whatever you send them, and then all they'll have access to is viewing the notes that you send them. If they decide they want to sign up for it, they can sign up and use it as a full-featured app, either the premium, or they can use the limited version of the free. What I love about this is that I use this a lot in sharing notes with my team. So for example, if I want to share some ideas on how to create a challenge group, or maybe a script that I use in doing my 5-day fat blast, I will put together the information in a note, and then I will share it via just a simple link that you click on, and you can share with the different individuals. You can tag your notes. So when you send your notes to Evernote via email, which is really cool, you can tag them and designate where they end up. So for example, if you get an email from someone, say you get an email from a customer and you want to keep track of that customer, you also have an Evernote email that specifically says whenever you use this email, for example, mine is joypolson.11871@m.evernote.com. So if I have an email that I want to save down into my Evernote, I just address that email to that particular email address that I have, and I'll show you how to find that Evernote email address because everyone gets their own. It's assigned in Evernote. And then you can actually tag it with the name of a tag that may already been tagged in one of your notes, and you can designate where you want it to end up inside Evernote. For example, say I want to share a notebook, books to read, with my team. So I go into share notebooks, I right click on it, and then I click on the sharing options, and that way I can share the books. If, for example, I received an email of a particular author that I wanted people to read, again, I would send that email out and share it with my team as well. So that is sharing. You can also collect ideas for blog posts, newsletter articles, etc. Sometimes you end up with having multiple notes on the same subject. What's neat about Evernote is that you can actually pull those notes together and merge them. So I'm going to pop out of Evernote really quick, and I am going to show you how I do that. So for example, this is my Evernote right now. And I am going to I'm going to find my other window here. We'll just use this one. Okay, so I'm going to search because I have a lot of notes that I've taken on books to read. So up here is your search window, and it's searching the entire directory of Evernote. So I am going to type in books. I can spell right. Okay, there we go. So I've got books to read. Here's a note that I've made called books to read. It's inside the notebook called Creative. I also have a book list for the first year. So this is my book list that I send to my coaches for the first year. But because I have 2 notes here, let's see if I have any more. Here's another one, Todd Durkin's top books. So I don't want all of these spread out all over the place in my notebooks. I want to merge these. So I'm going to take all 3 by just holding down your control key, clicking on books, then clicking on the next one, and then clicking on this one. Okay, so you see how all 3 of these notes now are popped up into your middle window. All you have to do is either you can send the notes to a notebook, you can create a table of contents, or you can merge those notes. So I would click on merge those notes and send them to a merge file, and basically it just consolidates them into a merge file. So that one I really, really like, and I use that a lot just to keep my notebooks organized. Let's go back to the presentation. Sherry, you still with me?
I am, yes.
Awesome. Okay, hold on one second. Let's go back to my webinar. So that's how you share. You can also, let me pop back into the presentation. Organize and tag your notes. So whether you're doing Evernote on your phone or you're doing it on your desktop or your laptop, you want to tag your notes. And there's a little section at the very top of each note that just asks you to tag your notes. So the tagging really, really helps because it indexes your notes and helps you when you go to find your notes later on. So we talked about tagging, we talked about email, we talked about how you can merge multiple notes into one. And this is just an example right here so you can see it. So basically, you know, just shift select the notes that you want, or control select depending on your computer, the notes that you want to consolidate into one, and then it will pop open this window. You can either email those notes to someone, you can merge them, you can save them as attachments, you could even create a table of contents, and then of course you can move them to a notebook. So super, super cool feature. Make sure you use that one. Here's one that I just fell in love with recently. You can actually blog by notebook. So within Evernote you have notes, and then you have notes that go inside notebooks, which are really like, consider, you know, basically a folder. And then you also have what's called stacks, where you can create like a bunch of notes that are on the same subject or related and then put them all in a stack. Well, say for example you want to, you're collecting recipes for your blog and you want to post those. You can do that easily by signing up via your Evernote login information at Postachio to create a blog. So Postachio is a free blogging service. So if you don't have a blog and you're like overwhelmed and can't figure out how to blog, this connects everything that you do in Evernote with regards to maybe creating, say, a recipe blog or a fitness blog. And you can post those notes directly to this blog service called Postachio. Super, super easy, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So the cool thing about it is you just basically tag your notes and you put them inside a notebook that you create called Postachio. Okay, and you're going to tag your notes as published. Simply open up your Evernote on your desktop or your mobile and create a note inside your notebook, your Postachio notebook, and tag it published. So let's go to my Evernote really quick. So yesterday I actually just created this. So Postachio, you create a folder, basically, a notebook they call it. So you would go in here, create a new notebook, you want it synchronized, and then you would name it Postachio, which I've already done. So let's skip to that step. Then I knew I had all these recipes. Okay, so all these recipes I had already collected. If you go and search, I'm going to show you how to add a recipe into this notebook. So let's see. Let me see if I can find another recipe in here. Here's one. Here's a bunch. Okay, so we have lentil lime salad. So that one I want to make into a note. I'm going to copy this. So Control C. And then I'm going to go over to Postachio. I'm going to go up here, create a new note. This one's going to be called lentil lime salad. Now here's the key, you guys, to making sure that you can tag it for Postachio. So it's sitting inside Postachio notebook, and all you have to do is write published, and then you copy and paste the recipe in. So once you do that, click on your little round arrows here, sync your notebook, and of course you have to go over to Postachio, which I've included the link for. Let me find the... Go over to your Postachio blog. Hopefully you can see it now on the screen. So this is my Postachio blog right here. And I'll just create, I'll just continue to hit the refresh basically. And eventually it will update and it will include everything that's in that particular notebook. And it goes in the order that you put it in basically. So that is how you do that one. Really, really cool. You can add videos inside that. This one is a video. So here's the actual blog called Postachio. And remember, all of this information is actually being fed from Evernote. So you want to go to postachio.com to set up your free account and ask it to link to Evernote. And so once you have your Evernote credentials, it'll just link to it. And then you don't do any of the creation inside Postachio. You go back to Evernote over here. You have your notebook called Postachio, and you just drag in or create your notes inside Postachio and then link it up by syncing up right here. And it syncs to Postachio. How cool is that? I love that feature. So hopefully you guys are doing blogs, and if you're not, that's one way to gain followers. Especially you can, from Postachio, you can basically link your information to Facebook, and you can also copy and paste this information to Facebook and say, hey, follow me over here on my blog, and you have your URL for your Postachio blog. So that's something that you can consider on how to use Evernote. It's just a really super easy way to get something up and running, especially if you're a new coach and you're overwhelmed with figuring all of this out, okay? Let's go back to my notebook. One second, I think my presentation got nested inside something here. Huh, I just lost my presentation for a second there. Okay, so let me go back to this. We talked a little bit about email and how to use email to send yourself something to into your Evernote. So I'm going to go to my email account. Let's go over to my email account and I'll log in. To remember, you have within Evernote, you actually have a, let me show you. You have a email address. If you go to your Evernote account information, it'll pull up your information. And right here, where it says email notes to, if you copy and paste that, that's your email address. Now I'm going to go into my email. And I received a note from one of my social media mentors, Kimra, yesterday. And I wanted to send that into my notebook over in Evernote. I saved it, I believe, as a draft. There it is. So in my email that Kimra sent me, she sent me a replay of a Facebook ads webinar. And you can see I've got my email set up to go to Joy Email. The important thing to do when you send yourself an email to your Evernote, you want to put the @ sign and the notebook, the name of the notebook it's going to. So at Kimra, it's going to go right into the Kimra notebook. And that one's done. So let's go back to Evernote. And it may take a few minutes for it to show up, so no worries. It'll be in there, and it'll be in the Kimra notebook later. Now let's go back and find what happened to my notebook. Hopefully that's not my sound. Okay, so here we are again. Hi, I see people on the webinar. So you want to mute your sound if you're on the webinar. Please mute your sound. Thank you. Okay, back to our webinar. The other thing that I do that I love is that within Evernote, if I just walk you through here, you have notes, notebooks, and tags. Those are the three main things that you need to know. If you look at mine, we're just going to walk through mine. So this is my notebooks. And inside your notebooks are your notes, basically. So notebooks, notes, and then if you have a collection of notebooks, then you make a stack where you bring multiple notebooks and you just drag them on top of a notebook and it becomes what is called a stack. So think of it like a binder, and inside that binder are multiple smaller binders, which are your notebooks, and inside those notebooks are your notes. Really easy way to keep things organized. And so like I keep all my blog things together. I keep all of my trainings with Shalene Johnson together. So if I clicked here, you can see inside here there's 3 different notebooks, and then here are my actual notes from the different trainings that I've been through with Shalene. Okay? So notebooks are important. What I usually do is I always create a notebook first when I know that I'm going to have a lot of information to store. For example, I have a notebook, and this is actually a stack, and then inside are notebooks with my Team Inspire coaches. So for each coach that I talk to, I usually make a notebook for them. And then for every conversation we have, all of the notes go in that notebook for that particular person. The same goes for any trainings that I do. So any team trainings that I do, I keep all of them inside notebooks. And the cool thing about this is, like, for example, when I'm doing a, let's say, my training I did for my team, GoPro. So in my training for my team for GoPro, I had every single day from day 1 through the last day, basically, of training, and kept them in here. So you can see, and now all I had to do was copy and paste this or email it to my team on that particular day, or I could copy and paste this and put it in a scheduling tool like Post Planner and post it to my private group. So it definitely becomes a repository, because these are trainings that I would use over and over and over again. Here's one that I did for my team called in Team Inspire Grow You. You can bring in images, which are really cool. So this image I had on my desktop, and all you have to do is, when you want to bring in an image from your desktop, you click on your desktop and it pulls up your desktop. You find an image that you want to bring in. Let's say this one. I don't even know what it is. It's in my P90 folder. Drag and drop. And there you have it. So that becomes an image inside your folder, inside your notebook. So let's say, for example, I wanted to create an email on this particular program. I would draft my email inside Evernote right here, and I would retitle this notebook, obviously, and make it a note and just call it, P90 email to customers. And then you'd have it, and you don't have to recreate these things over and over. It becomes part of your library. Okay? The other way you can do images inside Evernote is you can actually import images. Now I'm using, just to let you guys know, I'm actually using the premium version. So the premium version gives you quite a few more things to do as a heads up. So in here I can actually go and find my iPhone, which is connected via the USB port on my laptop right now. And I can import any pictures that I have on my camera roll. So again, let's say I was doing that recipe book. If I wanted to make a blog post on pistachio, let's cancel out of here really quick. Get into the notebook that you want to import. Create a new note. We can call this one Strawberry Parfait, which is something I had on the 21-day fix. Oops. See how it's red underlined? It was telling me I had misspelled it. So that's a smart thing for Evernote to do. Very cool. Go over to your Evernote, go to Services, Import Image. Now this is if you have a smartphone connected. It would find your smartphone. It would find any device that's connected, either a camera or a scanner, basically. Select your phone and then select the photo that you want to bring in. So I want to bring in this photo right here. I selected it. And there it is. And then all I would have to do at this point, you can see it's got a call to action on it. And I could actually add a link on this to my blog if I wanted. I could add by doing a right click, and I could actually either convert this to a PDF, I could add a link to it, which is really cool, or I could just write some text on it if I wanted. Okay? So if I were to write a recipe, I would just go down below by hitting the return key and creating my recipe. And one last thing to publish this to Pistachio, if you're doing the blog, is to make sure that you write the word published up here in the tags. And that way when you sync, by syncing right here, going over to Pistachio and hitting the sync button on your Pistachio dashboard, it will sync this recipe up to your blog. So you can see, again, how quickly you can create these blogs, how quickly you can create PDFs from your notes. So much that you can do here. It's just, you know, it's just something that I highly, highly recommend you start really digging into and using. Let's see. What else was I going to tell you? Let me go back and find my, for some reason my presentation got misplaced here. Oh, the other thing that's really, really cool is you can have collaborative work chats. This works really well in the premium version. So say, for example, you and one of your coaches are working together on something. It's very similar to instant messaging in that you can actually have a work chat. You can bring files in and start chatting around a file. You can share a file with someone right here. I can edit and invite. I can ask people to edit this file if I like, if I sent them a file, basically. So they can view, edit, or edit and invite, which is really, really cool. So for example, Sue Edie, one of my coaches, had sent me a note that she took from a seminar we went to in Dallas called Platinum Edge. And so she had some notes, I had some notes. So I looked at this note and I basically just added it to my notes from Platinum Edge. And so I went over to team trainings, went into my Platinum Edge right here, and added those notes in there. And you can see there's multiple people on that, meaning that this was a note that was shared by some other people. So that's how that works. Let me know if you have any questions as we're going along. Let me go back to our webinar really quick. I'm going to stop the screen share for a second and come back in. Hi. Okay. So what questions do you guys have so far? Give me some questions so that I can walk through some other things for you guys.
When you have a large customer base, is creating a notebook for each customer a good organization? I mean, how much can a notebook hold?
That's a great question. Depending on the size of your, depending on the level of your account, my account is premium and I get 4 gigs of storage a month, and I don't even use less. I use less than a gig, and I have, you know, hundreds of folders and notebooks. So I would say you absolutely could hold your large customer base with no problem. I would suggest you do a notebook and name that notebook customers, and then inside that notebook, add additional notebooks, basically creating, you know, a stack is what it's called. So just create a master notebook, call it customers, and then start creating notes on customers. And then if you get more than one note for one customer, merge those into one notebook, and then it sits inside that major notebook, or binder as we call it. It sits inside that, and it becomes basically your customer repository. So good question. Do you use Evernote right now, Sherry?
I just started playing with it. Oh, and checklist is my other question.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I want to make goals and go in there and be able to check on it daily and update them every night.
Okay. Let me show you the checklist. Let's go to maybe this one. I'm going to share my screen again. Tell me when you see my Evernote.
I can see it now. Oh, okay. That's your YouTube.
Can you see my Evernote now? How about now?
No.
Okay, you're seeing my YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, let me switch out and get back over to... Okay, let me find my Evernote. Got so many windows open. Okay, here we go. Let me screen share really quick. Entire screen should work. Okay. Let me pull up my Evernote. Okay, tell me when you see it.
I can see it now.
Okay, so you can see it remembers the last notebook I'm in. So I'm just going to go new note in this week so that it doesn't sit inside my last notebook I was just in. To-dos for this week. So basically you do that, and then you just add your checklist is all you do. This is the extent of really how Evernote uses to-do list, and what's cool about it is, you know, you can, basically you check it off when you do it, and then the cool thing about this is you can add reminders right over here. This is a clock. You can add a reminder. Let's say I want a reminder today at 12 p.m. and it will remind me on all devices. So if I've got my mobile synced to this, it will remind me that at 12 p.m. to host the webinar. So that is how I use my to-do list. I just do the basic simple thing here, and then I add reminders, and those reminders are sent to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it keeps everything kind of simple, but in the right place. The other thing that I do that I love about Evernote is that I use a program called IFTTT, and I put the webinar for that one up into our social media Facebook group. And if you don't have it, get in our Facebook group and I can tag you in or just ask me about it. But if this, then that is what that is. And it basically creates recipes and automated schedules to do things for you. So for example, I have a recipe inside If This Then That that sends every single post that I did in Instagram into my Evernote, into a folder called notebook called IFTTT. What I love about this, you guys, is that now I can go back and see a history of things I've posted in Instagram. And I can reuse these things, especially if I look at my statistics and go, wow, you know, that one really got a lot of traction, or I need this one for one of my challenge groups. I can bring this out basically. I can copy this image just by right-clicking, copy image, or save the image, and then I can create a Facebook post. I can send this into my post planner and create something there. So again, it's just really working smarter. If I want to, you know, do a challenge group around 21 Day Fix and I don't want to scroll through my Instagram to copy and save that picture again, I just go through here, and when I'm stuck on ideas of what to post, I just look at my post from a long time ago. It has the date of when I originally posted it and what I said in the message. So just for me, this is one of the coolest things that I love about it, and gives me some ideas on how to be creative on different social media outlets. So I may take like something like this and post and save this into Pinterest and use it as a Pinterest post, because I know for sure I wasn't doing Pinterest as much when I posted this originally. So just some ideas on how I used, you know, how I use the notes and how I use very efficient tools to keep track of my stuff, because you'll start to acquire a lot of stuff as you're posting on social media. So again, it's just nice to have a library of that stuff. The other thing you can do that I wanted to mention is that you can make shortcuts. So shortcuts are things that you use all the time. So for example, I use maybe Pinterest is one of my notebooks that I want readily accessible. So I can add that notebook to my shortcuts, and it puts it right over here in my shortcut file. So that is just another really cool feature. Makes it simple for me. Now it's up here, Pinterest. So anytime I had some ideas about Pinterest, or I wanted to do a training around Pinterest, I would just go to my shortcut note right over here, and it basically goes and opens up that notebook for me without having to click down here and open it up. Okay, so Evernote, here's the difference, because I know you guys are probably curious, like, what would I get for the premium version? And the good news is that it actually is only $5 a month for premium versus the free. And I highly recommend you do the premium, only because not only can you access all your, if you scan something in, for example, into Evernote, it will actually find the text within the pictures of the scans that you brought in. So it's got a really good text reader on it. It also allows you to create PDFs of your notes. It allows you to use the presentation mode, which is what we were using at the beginning of this presentation. It allows you to do a few more things that you can't do. You can synchronize across all types of files, which you can't do in the free version. You can basically edit notebooks that are shared in the free version. You can't do that. You can only read shared notebooks. You can't edit them. So if you were trying to collaborate with someone, or you were working on a project with another team member, you would definitely want to upgrade to the premium version. The bandwidth, in terms of the storage, you get so much more storage when you have premium. And again, remember, you're going to use this for everything. This is going to be your one source, because it goes across all of your mobile devices in your desktop. It's highly, highly worth it. And so that's pretty much how I use Evernote. I really, anytime I do a call with one of my coaches, I just go over and open up their folder and then start typing in. Anytime I'm listening to a call or a webinar, I make a notebook for that particular webinar. For instance, if I were listening to Kimra, I would open up her notebook and then I would start typing in on the particular subject that she's talking about that day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I could talk all day about this, but I don't want to keep you guys, so let me turn off my screen sharing so I can see you guys. So again, I see someone else in the screen, Ashley. Hey, Ashley, I'm going to unmute you so you can talk. Let's see here. Maybe I can. I don't know. Maybe, Ashley, you can unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Was that helpful at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I need to do some work, obviously. And I pulled it up on my... Oh, sorry. We're playing outside.
No worries.
No, so I had it on my phone, and I kind of looked at it, but that was a lot more detail, so I'm going to have to go play with it some more and figure it out.
Yes, and it's cool to have it on your phone. I have to say I don't use it on my phone as much, but just knowing it's there, and if I need to access something quickly and I'm out and about, it also has a built-in camera, so you could take a picture right from your phone. Within the Evernote app, there's a camera option, and you can take a picture of something. Let's say you have a note that you're writing while you're out and about with the kids one day, and you just jot something down. You can easily record that by just opening your Evernote app and then tapping on the camera icon, and then it'll send it into your Evernote notebook. So
cool. That would be really, really helpful.
Yes, exactly. Yep. You can also do, oh, I forgot, you can do this, audio recording. So if you're like me, you're a busy, busy woman, and you're always on the go, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to remember to do this. You just open Evernote, click on the little microphone icon, and it actually records whatever you say into it. So if you don't want to type, which typing can be such a nuisance sometimes on your phone, you just click on that little microphone and just record your audio notes in there. You could record a team call to your team and just, basically record it, saves it as a audio file, click on the share and share that link. It'll have a share button on Evernote, and you can say copy the link. And so you copy the link, go over to your Facebook private group page for your team and say, hey team, here's my little message for today. Make sure you listen and comment below on 3 takeaways or something like that. So that's how a lot of the top coaches use audio. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing it as well, right? make your grocery list. You could make, I mean, it can be anything at all. Just think about how productive you could be if you could just speak everything instead of having to write it out. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Anything else, Sherry? What are you going to do differently now that you know about this? How will you use it?
Organize.
Yeah.
I have. You don't even want to see my stack of papers.
Are you mostly like a pen and paper girl?
I am, but envisioning an office space that is productive and growing my business, I know I need to be organized in a better fashion and everything accessible. And I really like being on my laptop, so I can do a lot of work from there, but also have access on my phone when I'm on the go.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that.
I think, I know you ladies are building your teams as well. What I ask my team members to do is to get Evernote and then to send me their goals and any things that they want to chat about. They send me their link from their Evernote, and then I open it up and I get to store it inside my Evernote. They're just sharing their notes with me. So instead of me like having to find it in Facebook messaging and copy and paste it into my Evernote, if you train your team right and train them up right, they're going to use the same tools as you are, and you guys as a team are going to be so much more efficient. You can collaborate on what you're going to say to your challenge groups for the next 21 days, and you can start to work more as a team by using this one piece, this one app that will hold you guys together and really help you, really collaborate as a team. So think about it from that perspective as well, in terms of productivity. So that's it. I'm going to not keep you guys too much longer. Again, our Facebook group is online. If you message me, you can get to it, or go to bootcampforsocialmedia.com. Bootcampforsocialmedia.com. I offer a full course on Instagram from growing your brand, and Sherry's gone through some of it, and she's done awesome with it. But really, I take you one-on-one and teach you how to grow your brand on Instagram. And then what we're doing with our webinars is probably every week or every 2 weeks, I'll just dive into one app that I use and really take you guys through it. And so if you want additional time, please check out my bootcampforsocialmedia.com, and we'll have this recording up along with a PDF that I'll put together from Evernote that will have all the show notes with a few more bonus tips. So again, thank you so much, Ashley and Sherry, for jumping on today, and anyone else that I missed. Thank you for logging in later, and hopefully this helped you. Let me know how it did in our Facebook groups or on Mindy's wall, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.